Farming has always been this high-stakes gamble, right? You're fighting the weather, you're fighting pests, the market. But what if I told you the biggest challenge, the biggest unknown variable, is literally right under our feet, in the soil itself?
So what if we could give farmers a kind of superpower? The ability to see right through the ground, to know exactly what their crops need, inch by inch across an entire field. What would that change? Honestly, it would change absolutely everything.
For centuries, farming has been based on a whole lot of guesswork. I mean, think about it. You treat an entire field the same way, same water, same fertilizer, all because you can only see what's on the surface. And that approach is it's super inefficient, and it gets really expensive. The future, though, is all about flipping that script. It's about farming by data, where every single decision is sharp, precise, and totally informed.
And here's the real problem, the thing that makes it so hard. Soil is not uniform. Not at all. The nutrients, the moisture, even how packed down it is, that can change dramatically from one side of a field to the other. So when your biggest variable is totally invisible, you're basically farming with a blindfold on.
But what if? What if you could just take that blindfold off? Well, that's exactly where this incredible piece of tech comes into play. Meet the SoilSpec Drone. So what is it? The SoilSpec Drone is this brilliant aerial system that flies over a field and, for all intents and purposes, gives the farmer X-ray vision. It maps out everything. We're talking nutrients, moisture, even hard-packed earth. And it does it all without a single slow and expensive lab test.
Okay, I know this sounds a bit like science fiction, right? But the actual process for the farmer is surprisingly simple. It takes you from a simple flight plan all the way to a detailed, ready-to-go action plan.
The whole thing is just so streamlined. Step 1, the farmer just pulls out an app and draws the boundaries of their field. That's it. Step 2, the drone takes off and flies this perfect grid pattern completely on its own. While it's up there, Step 3, the onboard AI is crunching all that sensor data in real time. And then, Step 4, by the time it lands, boom, a custom action plan is sitting there ready to go. So, that's the big question, isn't it? How is this thing actually seeing the unseen? Well, it's not magic, I promise. It's a fusion of some seriously sophisticated sensors, all packed into this one little device. Let's pop the hood and see what it's actually looking for down there. All right, first up, you've got hyperspectral imaging. Now, this isn't your average camera. It sees way beyond what our eyes can, picking up these invisible light signatures that tell you exactly what nutrients, like nitrogen and phosphorus, are in the soil. It's like it's reading the soil's unique chemical fingerprint from the air.
Then, there's a tiny ground-penetrating microradar on board. It sends these little signals down into the earth to measure how dense the soil is. And why does that matter? Well, because it finds those hard, compacted zones. We're talking patches of ground so tough that roots just can't break through. It's this invisible barrier to a good harvest that farmers can finally see and do something about.
And it's not done yet. It's also got microwave sensors that can read moisture almost a foot deep, so you know if the roots are getting water, not just the surface. Plus, a spectrometer analyzes how light reflects off the dirt to figure out the soil's pH balance, which, as any farmer will tell you, is absolutely critical for the plants to actually absorb those nutrients. But here's the most important part. This thing doesn't just dump a bunch of numbers on you. That would be useless. The AI dashboard translates all of that super complex sensor data into a simple, easy-to-read, actionable plan. It gives you these color-coded health maps, it suggests the exact fertilizer mix for each specific zone, it even gives you a 7-day irrigation forecast and recommends which crops would thrive in different spots. It's not just data, it's a playbook.
Okay, so the tech is amazing, no doubt. But what does it actually mean for a farmer's wallet, for their harvest? Let's talk about the real-world payoff here. First, let's talk about money. By applying fertilizer with, surgical precision, only where it's needed and only as much as is needed, farmers can cut their fertilizer costs by a whopping 25 to 40%. For any farm, but especially a small one, that is a massive, game-changing amount of savings.
And what happens when you give your crops the perfect meal in the perfect spot? Well, your yields go up. A lot. We're talking a potential increase of 15 to 30%. Think about that. You're spending less money to grow more food. That's the dream.
And then there's time and effort. The old way of soil testing, it means walking a field for days, digging up sample after sample, bagging them, sending them to a lab. It's a ton of work.
This drone does a better, more detailed job in a tiny fraction of the time. We're talking about cutting the labor for soil sampling by a staggering 90%.
You know, this table really lays it all out, doesn't it? It's the perfect before and after. For every major invisible problem, soil variability, overfertilization, wasted water, the old way is slow, expensive, and frankly, a bit of a guess. The SoilSpec solution, it's fast, it's data-driven, and it is precise every single time.
So you can see this is way more than just a cool new drone, right? This really represents a fundamental shift in how we can manage our land and our resources. Let's zoom out for a second and look at why this is a true game changer for the future of farming.
What makes this so different isn't just one single thing. It's a bunch of key innovations all packed into one device. You've got this incredible fusion of multiple high-tech sensors. It was specifically designed from the ground up to be affordable and repairable for small farms, not just massive agribusinesses. Huge deal. It has offline capability, which is absolutely critical when you're out in a rural area with no internet. And maybe best of all, the AI is self-learning. It gets smarter and smarter about each field, season after season.
And this quote, this really just nails it. It enables smallholders to make data-driven decisions typically available only to large agribusinesses. And that's the core idea. This isn't about making giant corporate farms a tiny bit more efficient. It's about democratizing this powerful technology. It's about giving family farms the same incredible tools that, until now, only the biggest players could even dream of.
Which brings us to a final and pretty huge question. When you create a tool that can help millions of small farmers all over the world grow more food using fewer resources with less environmental impact, you have to ask, can a little 3-kilogram drone actually help solve global food security? When you look at what it can do, the answer seems to be a resounding and very hopeful yes.